What if I were to suggest that you play a key role in the awakening world?
You can use the kitchen if you need to.
And that you are watching this because you have heard the call. We can start right now by opening our hearts and minds. Welcome to the awakening world.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Awakening World. I'm Love Coach Scott Thomas, and I'm honored to be your host as we have a really special show tonight. It is the start of Peace Week, all about to happen, and we're going to be previewing that for you with some of my absolute favorite colleagues, people that I really have a lot of love for. But first off, I want to welcome everybody who's watching. I want to welcome those of you that are already in our Zoom room. I see a lot of our regulars, a lot of our friends, and as always, let us know where you are geographically. It's always really interesting to see people from all over the world joining us. And speaking of people all over the world, I want to thank John and Summer Raymer, who are here with us. You know, I always thank them, but this is one of those times when I get to thank them, and there they are, because they are the people who run the Sign Network, and through the Sign Network, we are out over to as many as 100 Facebook groups and pages. So thank you, John and Summer. And I'm so glad you're with us tonight so we can thank you. So if you are watching on Facebook, thank you. Also, a big hello to all of our friends watching on YouTube. And let me just briefly tell you who else is going to be with us. We've got the man who makes it all happen, Ben Bowler, coming all the way from Australia. And we'll do a bigger introduction for Ben. You're going to hear all about what he has created with World Unity Week and how they're collaborating. And again, I'm going to go back to John and Summer, who are his wonderful partners in creating Peace Week. And we have with us Kurt Johnson. In the beginning, there was Kurt Johnson, and it was good. All things began with Kurt Johnson and his amazing work with the Evolutionary Leaders Network, Synergy Circles. He's remarkable. And we've got a new friend, Anasuya Hallelujah, also known as Anasuya Isaacs. She is a fairly new friend and a wonderful woman who's going to share with us a little bit about what she's going to be doing Peace Week. And we have our beautiful, beloved brother, Omashar. And Omashar, of course, brings so much good vibes, good music. And in fact, we're going to let Omashar get us going with some music right now. Hey, brother.
Hey there. Namaste and aloha to everybody. And here's a little song to start us off. It's called The Wonderful and the New. Let's see how we do. That's not the lyrics, but it rhymes, so I thought I'd say it. Okay, where's my cursor gone? There it is. All right. Deep breath. You'll never walk this way again. Lay down all your guards. hearts will lead the way. The door is open. The wonderful and the new is waiting patiently. Take the step and you will see all you've been dreaming. Now is the time you've been waiting for so long. I've been holding you through all ages, knowing I'd be with you once again. Never be alone again. Please take my hand in yours. I love you just the way you are. You're my creation. The wonderful and the new is waiting patiently. Take the step and you will see all you've been dreaming. Because now is the time you've been waiting for so long. And I've been holding you through all ages, knowing I'd be with you once again. Now is the time you've been waiting for so long. I've been holding you through all ages, knowing I'd be with you once again.
Thank you, beautiful, beloved brother Omashar. And you know what? It's appropriate you're playing that song because the waiting is over.
Right.
We've been talking about what's about to happen for 99 days when we went all the way back in June with the start of 99 days of unity. And I think we're now at about, Ben, what are we at? Day 92?
Day 92, it is day 92, absolutely.
Yeah, good guess. So it's day 92. It's the eve of Peace Week. And to get a little bit better sense of what Peace Week is all about, here's a short video to introduce it.
Let me tell you about the lie we've been living in for centuries, millennia. They say peace through domination's justifiable while building up the arsenal. All the sages and wise men of the ages were guiding us to look within ourselves. But the fear so divisive and the lies so enticing, we keep spinning this hell. Shine your light, you are the future being told. Cultivating, see
And look at all those people coming together to make this happen. So I'm going to go right into just asking, maybe for between Kurt and Ben and John and Summer, tell us a little bit about the history. How did all of this evolve, and when did it start, and how did we get to where we are today?
Well, I'm the one that had volunteered to run us through a little time capsule. I'm going to try to do that briefly, but it's exciting to see where all this came from. So we have to actually go back to 1981. So 1981 is when the General Assembly declared the International Day of Peace. But actually before that time, the people who were working for that declaration were Avon Madison, who's one of the people that we're remembering in our whole dedication of Peace Week this year and another year. So she was working with Robert Mueller at the UN. And as of 1981, then the Day of Peace was declared. So then we kind of jumped to 1990. We actually, well, what happens in 1990? Well, guess what? That's when the public internet happens. And that allows, when AOL goes public, that allows the UN to start doing things online. So a lot of the other people that we know, Deborah Moldow, Dot Maver, Monica Willard, Martha Gallahue, they all come on board at that time when the UN starts this outreach by using the new internet. Right at that time, Wayne Teasdale writes his book, Finding a Universal Spirituality in the World's Religions. He's on the trustee board of the Parliament of World Religions. And suddenly by 2000, this question of how the religions get together to work for peace start to happen. So I come on board about 2000 in New York, working with Wayne for what was then called the Vigils for Peace in Central Park from the interspiritual and interfaith communities, because at that time we're just starting to build out what this looked like at an international level. And at that time I meet Philip Helmick, and Helmick is also one of the people that we honor, in the Peace Week this week, and also with the center in Poland. And Philip at that time was with a Search for Common Ground. So then the next date we run to is 2004. What happens then? Well, Rick Alfick decides to go really big time on the internet with the 11 Days of Global Unity. And that coordinated then with the NGO community in the United Nations, starts getting all of these celebrations of the 11 days and the Peace Week out to the world. So we were really kind of in that holding pattern with what Rick was doing 2004. Also in 2004 then was the first program on interspirituality by the Parliament of World Religions, which was held in Barcelona. And Philip was there, Avon was there, all of us who were these pioneers were there. So then we make another big jump to the people that are on your screen. And that is when Ben and I and some other people meet in about 2015, 2016. And Ben, coming from Australia and thinking really big about global events and what he wants to do, he wants to take this international, and he wants to take it international in a big way. And not only with online events, but what he starts doing with in-person events. And very, very soon along comes John. So by the time we're at 2016, 2017, we've got Ben, we've got John, we've got Sign that's come into birth, and this vision of the road to 2020. And I'll be putting a link into the chat where you can actually read a beautiful magazine that's about all the things that happened at that time. I'm just about done. But I remember that time so well because it's 2018 that we had a video that we presented, which was done by Yanni and Ben and I, and some about what the vision was for Unity Earth and the vision for the road to 2020, which we did in Santa Barbara, California for the meeting of the evolutionary leaders in Santa Barbara, 2018. So then immediately we go to the Toronto Parliament of World Religions. Sign is on board, Ben's on board. We have this agreement with United Religions Initiative. And actually Peace Week as we know it now, as this international event, with so much going on that we're all so busy about, that actually has become a reality. And then just the last demarcation I want to make is actually this year, because it's this year that Avon has passed away, Philip has passed away. We've really had an entire turning of the clock in that way. And then we're really honoring those people deeply in the way that was the origin of what we see now is this fantastic week that's ahead of us, and mostly due to not only what Rick Alfick is doing, but then what Ben and John are doing such a huge way with Peace Week, as you just saw from the video. So that's the time capsule, and I'm glad I had a chance to talk about it.
Well done, Kurt. And don't go away because we're going to talk to you a little bit more. I did put into the chat box the history, but you can find it by going to the wonderful newsletter magazine that Kurt puts together, lightonlight.us, and then you'll see history of ISD. And again, I put that into the chat box for those of you in the Zoom room. I know that Ben needs to go soon, so I'm going to put the spotlight on Ben. Because Ben, I'd love for you to just share a little bit about what this all means to you. You've been working tirelessly for quite a while putting this together. So what would you like to share with our audience?
Oh, thank you, Scott. It's wonderful to be here with you and here with Kurt and John and Summer and Becky and Anasuya and beautiful music from Omashar to open us up. What an incredible, kind of a blast from Kurt Johnson there, just covering about 40 years in a couple of minutes. But as you said, Scott, in the beginning was Kurt Johnson, and it was good. And that's very much the experience we had with Unity Earth and the way it emerged, during that timeline that Kurt was talking about. It was actually Kurt, and I remember this very vividly. I was in my boardroom at work, who put me on the phone to Avon Madison many, many years ago. My first call with her, Kurt, you may remember. And it really is Avon's co-creation of Peace Week, which, goes back to the early 80s after the original resolution that Kurt referenced in 1981, then started observing the International Day of Peace through those early years of the 80s. And of course, Scott, we covered that on the Awakening World this time last year with Avon, which was, I think, her last recorded presentation, which we played at the Assembly a few days ago, was extraordinary. And of course, with Jeremy Gilley as well, out of the UK, whose efforts helped, fix the date of the International Day of Peace forever on September 21st. But just in brief, really what's at the heart of this, and it's in the song that Christian so brilliantly delivers, is for decades, for centuries, and yet for millennia, we have been trying a theory which can be summed up as peace through domination. Whether it's Pax Romana, Pax Americana, whatever it is, this idea that we can achieve peace through superior firepower. We've tried it, and it worked to a limited degree for a limited number of people. But what we're really asking is the question, is peace through unity possible? Is peace through unity possible? And the only way we can answer it that makes any sense is to try it. There's no point just debating it intellectually. So this Peace Week and everything that Avon stood for and everything that Kurt's done with his whole life and what John and Summer and Becky and everybody and you, Scott, everybody here is coming together in Anasuya to answer that question. Is peace through unity possible? And in our hearts, we know that it is. So that really is what's driving a lot of what's happening around the world. It's so exciting. It is Saturday, September 17th here in Australia. Peace Week has started. This is day 92, but it's of the 99 days of peace through unity. But it's day one of Peace Week. And that whole concept of peace through unity is incredibly presented by Avon Madison in her last audio message to us, which was a few weeks after the one we did on Saturday Night Alive a year ago. But coming up to Peace Week, it's extraordinary what's happening. Out of Africa, we've got incredible content, music, movies that are being made, Pato Banton, Antoinette Root's daughter. What's happening in Poland? I'm sure you'll hear more about it from John and Summer a little bit later at the House of Hope, right near Auschwitz. What's happening in South America with the dedication of the Pyramid of Peace. This is a truly global coming together over these next few days. And if I can just share screen, just to show a little bit about just a touch of some of the exciting things that is coming. Here's peaceweek.org. You can get a lot of what you need to know here. Have a look at some of these headliners. This is amazing. Zach Bush, Vandana Shiva, some incredible headliners. Mary Evelyn Tucker. I mean, for those of you who may know, Mary Evelyn is an incredibly important voice. Musicians, artists, activists, change makers, intercultural, international, interspiritual, intergenerational. I mean, this is just a fraction. Here we have Simon Moss, the co-founder of Global Citizen, a decade of pop and policy that they and their efforts, which have actually helped to raise $30 billion over the last decade. I mean, there is so much here. Brian McLaren is redefining Christianity in America. This is not small stuff. This is big stuff that's happening. What Anasuya is doing with honoring the divine Mother. I can show you here. This is just one of the plenary events. Have a look at these incredible Jim Garrison from Humanity Rising, China Galland, Auntie Edna. I mean, these are extraordinary individuals that are coming together from all over the world to put this on. And Peace Week, if you go there and just have a bit of a look, I mean, Jonathan Granoff and Deepak Chopra have a live event Sunday at 4 p.m. Eastern Time, talking about human security from the deepest personal to the global. You can see a lot of what's happening here on the schedule when you go to all events, which is just loading here, Scott. But there's just some amazing stuff. It starts in around about 10 hours from now. With Vandana Shiva. I know that's going to be an early start on the West Coast, right? But this is 9 a.m. Eastern. Incredible. This is the 7 core needs. First one is living soil. We then go into our global ceremony, which is going to be 7:30 a.m. on the West Coast, 10:30 a.m. Eastern time. So this starts now. And then we're into this sort of extraordinary series of events. There's too much to show you all of what's happening. But I just, really invite people to dip in. And if it's overwhelming, that's okay, because, there is such an incredible amount of stuff. You will find the place you need to be, just like I did when I met Kurt. And when I met Kurt, that was one of those seismic events which has changed the trajectory of my life and mission. And I know, because we've experienced it in Peace Week many times, John, there is a field here of synchronicity, of spontaneity. It's the field, it's the hollow movement, it's the supreme being, it's whatever you want to call it, but just jump in and you will find your place, you will find your people, you will find your community. Just come into the field of Peace Week. So thank you, Scott. Thank you, The Awakening World. Everything you do, you guys are incredible partners. We're all in, all together for all life, and we're answering that question, Kurt. Is peace through unity possible? We're doing that together. Thank you, Becky.
I know you need to run real quick, but I want to just bring on your partners here, Becky Suzik, who we didn't get a chance to introduce because she came in a little bit late. But welcome, Becky. I'm glad you're with us, and we're going to hear from Becky. Ben, just want to give you a moment to anything you want to share about your collaboration with Becky, John, Summer, Kurt.
Well, I feel almost a bit spoiled, Scott. These people are just it's a joy of my life to work with them, to work with Kurt over these many years. My brother John and sister Summer Joy and my sister Reverend Becky. Yeah, we're blessed. But I do want to say this is open to everybody. This is not a clique. This is something we're looking to expand the culture of the heart, just like what you do, Scott, just what Anasuya does, just what Omashar does with his music, to expand this culture of peace, this culture of generosity, this culture of friendship. It's not a certain group, it's universal. So we're here, we're in it, we're not going to stop. Nothing's going to stop us. We're going to keep going, and we're looking for more friends, more collaborators, more alliances, more resources to become the system of influence that is our destiny. So I'm blessed. I love you, John and Summer. I love you, Kurt. I love you, Becky. I love you, Scott. We're in it together, and we're just opening it wide open to go as big, as deep, and as far as we can. And there's no end, there's no limit. It doesn't stop.
Fantastic. Thank you.
What a gift. Isn't he amazing?
Yeah.
I love him. That's exactly the thoughtfulness we need. That's exactly the vibration, right? We're actually figuring it out, how to be together here. It's so beautiful to hear that story. Actually, just so you know, it was actually through the Compassion Games in 2014 and I was stunned when I realized 9/11 to 9/21 when Rick did that in 2001, the International Day of Peace was 9/11.
Wow. Yeah. And that's actually how they came up with the 11 days of global unity, because it starts on September 11th. It ends on Peace Day, which is September 21st, and that's how it all happens. Ben, I know you got to go, but one last thing. A little bit later, I'll show the video about what's happening in Pakistan. We are going to do fundraising all weekend long, tonight, tomorrow night, and Sunday. But you just had some exciting news about Purpose Earth. So before you go, I'd love for you to share that.
Well, this is fantastic, Scott. We've got to ground this mission. And part of it is, what we're launching with the 7 core needs. And I encourage people to go to peaceweek.org and have a look around and look up the 7 core needs, because it is grounding the idealism that exists in our hearts. And it's the same with what's happened in Pakistan. So tremendous flood, incredible devastation that's happened there over the last few weeks. We have people on the ground, trusted humanitarian aid workers, and they are going to give blankets, food, support, shelter to particularly women, pregnant women, and young mothers who are suffering the devastations of the flood. And our partners at Purpose Earth are going to match any donation, and 100% will go straight to Noreen Yunus and Ramal Roy out of Lahore, but they're doing missions across Pakistan in the most affected areas. Up to $2,500, Purpose Earth have put forward to match funds. So we need anybody who wants to support that. PayPal at Unity Earth. PayPal at Unity.earth. PayPal at Unity.earth is where to send it, and everything that comes in will be doubled and sent directly to Pakistan. So thank you, Scott, for giving us an opportunity to say that, and thank you, Purpose Earth, and everybody who's contributing to that.
All right. Thank you, Ben. Have a great everything that you're doing, and we'll see you tomorrow.
See you soon. See you soon. Bye for now. Lots of love. Thank you.
Bye,
You
Ben.
know, I'd love to give Becky a chance to say a little something, and then we'll go to John, who will take us through the schedule. But Becky, thank you for joining us, because I know, oh my gosh, you have been doing so much to make all of this happen. But look at you just beam. Whenever I look at you, Becky, you're just beaming love. And congratulations, you are now Reverend Becky. So we're really proud of you.
Oh, it is such a joy to be here. So much so a joy. We need some bubbles. Don't you think? We all need more bubbles. So I'm just so grateful. We have so many of us behind the scenes have been working so diligently with such love and commitment to bring forth. I believe we're at 13 convergence rooms for the Up Convergence that's part of Peace Week. And it's just been incredible to work with so many different change makers and their commitment and the different presenters and just bringing this through. And so it's a great joy. It's a great honor and a privilege. And I'm really excited to be here tonight, get to listen to my brothers and sisters sharing as well. And just thank you so much, Scott, for all that you do in the new media that we are, this new media that is Zoom, that really is, to me, it is the good news. So you turn on the old story media, there's a lot of terrible things that are happening in the world, and yet there are so many amazing restorative justice and healing things that are happening. So it is a privilege to be here sharing some of the really amazing, powerful things that are happening right now towards healing each other and the earth. So thank you so much for inviting me, Scott.
Becky, while I've got you, let's talk about those convergence rooms. And again, everybody, everything you're going to be seeing, because we're going to be going back and forth to peaceweek.org. That's easy to remember, peaceweek.org. I'll be putting it into the chat box a few times. So you heard her talk about the convergence rooms. So when you go to schedule, click all events. We're going to have John take us through the overall schedule. But Becky, you're kind of in charge of the convergence rooms. So tell us a little bit about that, and go ahead and tell us about each one briefly.
Sure. So we have 13 different convergence rooms that are stewarded by our convergence room stewards who help architect different schedules in each room around different themes. And the theme names are, as you can see there, we have eco-governance, which we are honoring the 7 core needs every single day of Peace Week starting tomorrow. There's a different theme for each day, and those will be reflected in the plenaries and some of the other programming that comes forth. Then we have the Gifts of the Magi, which is the co-creators convergence. Bob and Noel do an amazing job bringing forth programs. They'll be reflecting some of the programs that actually happened during World Unity Week in their convergence room. And so as we're talking about each of these different rooms, there are different schedules that when you come to our website right here, peaceweek.org, you can click on these and see what's happening. And just know that the schedule is ever becoming. We're still, as we are co-creative and designing this together, the schedule itself will continue to evolve as you visit the site. You'll see more programs that get added across all of the different convergence rooms, and it's really incredible through next Saturday. So we go for a full the Beatles week, we call it, because it's an 8-day a week. So so there's that many different rooms with different themes.
And so is it best to go to the Trello board to see the schedule?
Well, you can look on the Trello board. So if you were to click on, let's look at the list, I'm trying to see which board that one is. If you go to, let's see, if you go up to room 1, if you look at the room one, I know that that one is pretty well set for the week.
Okay,
If
so
you were
I'll
to
look
look
at that.
on the room one board, you'll see we have plenary opportunities that happen throughout the week, including the opening ceremony that Ben was talking about tomorrow, that follows the first plenary that's at 9 a.m. You'll notice that, well, the times will appear in your time zone when you visit the website. When you visit the Trello board, it is listed in Eastern Daylight Time. We had to pick one time for the whole world to do the math around. So we picked Eastern Daylight Time, New York, for ease, we hope, for people to do the translation for their time zone. We have plenaries, though, twice a day. The first plenary is at 9 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. and the second is from 6 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. each day. And plenaries are opportunities for us all to come together in the same Zoom room to lean in and listen, have sacred listening, and have an experience with the people who are offering programs. Sometimes people in the Zoom rooms will be invited, just like in your program, Scott, invited to contribute their voice, their stories, their ideas, and of course in the chat. We engage with people as part of the new media. It's a very engaging experience in what we're creating. So we invite everyone to come to the plenaries as well as go to the different convergence rooms outside of the plenary times and get involved and listen and open your hearts. And I like to say to people, look for the thing that you're really curious about. You know, there are such diversity. And as Ben was talking about unity, we celebrate the diversity among us and we honor and uplift that diversity. So you'll see so many different programs, but don't feel like you have to go to everything or that you're missing anything. Just pick the things that you're curious about and that you want to check out.
I'm going to bring John and Summer back on because, you know, they also have some thoughts and ideas about the schedule. And it's true, it's kind of like the Smithsonian Institute of peace here. There's so many options and things to do. John, yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, listen to what Becky's saying too. She talks, it's a new media. So here's what's going on. It's some hybrid of video conferencing, creating a place just like we have here with you, Scott, right? But we also have a situation where people are stepping up to say, hey, there's a topic I care about. Not only do I have stuff to present, I have others who are also related, whether it's eco-governance or whether it's these topics having to do with holistic design. So they are stewarding rooms in which presentations are being made. This is widely distributed leadership. This is self-organizing, guys. We're at a moment in our time on Earth. We're either going to do what Dr. King was saying when he said, those who love peace need to learn to organize as effectively as those who love war. And we have a chance using these new technologies to really connect the earth in creative ways. So everyone's invited. This is not watch, even though you saw incredible speakers there, and there's great plenaries like that, but we're inviting people to really connect up with each other, to find each other, to be able to bring ourselves together in unprecedented ways. And that's the convergence that's at the heart of Peace Week. So just let's all realize it's a new world we're in. And the need for peace. For instance, examples of this that are so incredible is what's happening at the House of Hope near Auschwitz. A peace lab is being born there. Some of the darkest places on earth. 9/11 was when this started, when we put out the press release of the House of Hope in Auschwitz, putting forward this peace lab for a youth convergence on the 21st to end war and build peace together. These are what we need right now at these times, and know the good news, these stories of where people are really coming together and discovering what peace through unity looks like in unprecedented ways. Building on what Kurt's doing, what you're doing, Scott, what's Ben doing, what Becky's doing. That's what this alliance is all about. That's what our opportunity is. We don't know exactly how to do it. So everyone's willingness to be gracious and supportive, but we've given voice to a lot of people. And there's going to be an open space on Friday where anyone who's hearing this can show up. If you've got something to bring to this party, this is all hands on deck, guys.
And I would just say, too, kind of going back to that question you asked us a few minutes back, Scott, about, how did we get here?
Yeah.
And, 9 years ago, yesterday, was the day that I met John.
Wow. Happy
Yeah.
anniversary.
Well, we didn't start dating that day, but I'm just saying, you know, something happened that day. And we continue to, like, you know, in some ways, like hearing Kurt break down that timeline, it's almost, to me, it's like we've all were connected at that moment. And timeline to me is a lot more cyclical at this point. I feel it a lot more like a flower, you know, how petals like continue to reveal, and it's revealing our connections in these cyclical ways. You know, so part of what, when I think about like why I'm here, is this incredible authenticity, or also just a place where it felt like home with John 9 years ago, when I started having a conversation with him and revealing things to him about a connection to a Lakota woman who was one of the few baby survivors of Wounded Knee, who it was a revealing of the land that I was living on 9 years ago, which is the land that we live on now, is connected to Four Worlds and Hereditary Chief Phil and Ejna. And, you know, just it's so much. And back in 2018, when we met Ben, and suddenly we were on a plane to go to Ethiopia, where we met many of the people that are a part of the awakening world. And, you know, there's just this incredible revealing of what I would just say is home, a feeling of home. And, you know, there is something so extraordinary about these convergence gatherings that are so incredibly humbly, generously made for people to share their gifts. And over again, over all these last 3 years now of these convergence events that are so generously given to the world for those to share. And then also every single one of those events, I mean, you can be in the Zoom room tomorrow morning. I think it's, 6 a.m. Pacific, with Vandana Shiva. It is a space where there's a Zoom room link associated with every single event, because part of the experience is being a part of it, and being there in the space for so many of these events is part of what makes it relevant. Is I'm just like looking at Eleanor Joy. Eleanor Joy comes to the event that's happening, right? Like that, you're going to bring what only you can bring into the space.
Yeah.
And over again, it's getting back to that home feeling. To me, it's that moment that I go, oh, in the assembly just a couple days ago, this is what peace through unity looks like. Time and time again, I'm crying in these Zoom rooms, and it's just like revealing something so beautiful and sacred and authentic and beautiful. And it's true what Ben said. This isn't like some kind of clique. And yes, we all love each other, but it's about the love that's for everyone that arrives in the room.
Right.
Is the home.
Right. That's
so
right. That's right. And I know that we're hurting.
Yeah.
How can we sit and hear a third of Pakistan is underwater and just kind of, okay, keep talking with everything that's going on? So how do we heal a wounded world? And how do we care for ourselves in this process as we learn how to live? Nonstop telethon, guys. There's such pain. And if we could be authentic with each other, that's the power. Authenticity grants authority.
Well, and I think that's been there in all of it. Avon Madison, you start to reveal these names that are part of the origins, like just, they're right here.
Right here.
They're right here.
And live like we're all in this together. So it is a privilege to serve this way. It's a joy. And that we're really confronting that the situations that we have are because we're organized in the way that's producing results that no one wants.
Yeah.
They change the way we do things.
And we keep growing our tribe out. I'm going to bring Becky back on. I'm going to bring Kurt back on. I'm going to bring Omashar back on. And for example, Omashar is a great example. Omashar was somebody who used to watch The Awakening World. And he sent me a message, said, well, I play music, and if you ever want to maybe use me. He's become our house musician, right?
It's a unified field. and that momentum that you had garnered, it just drew me in. It wasn't something, exactly what John was just saying. And so, yeah.
And we keep growing and growing. And an example of growing is our other guest who we haven't heard from really much yet, Anasuya Hallelujah. I love that name. Let's all say it together. Anasuya Hallelujah. Who's like one of our newer friends. And growing. Anasuya, tell us a little bit about kind of your experience of this growing tribe, Global Peace Tribe, World Unity Week, Peace Week, and then of course tell us about what you're going to be doing next Thursday.
I'm so moved. I probably will tear up just listening to the story. Thank you so much, Kurt, for sharing it with me, because I didn't know it. I just know I came to one meeting on Wednesday and was hooked immediately. I didn't know anything about anything, and I just loved the energy of the gathering of so many diverse people from so many countries, languages, religions, philosophy, all coming together to say peace is possible, and we're the ones to do it. I'm like, I found my tribe. So when they say it's not a clique and it's open to everyone, I walked off the street, came and sat down, listened, and said, I'm here forever. Like, it was just that quick, because there was so much love in the room, so much respect, so many people grappling with their internalized patriarchy, internalized racism, their complicity. It was so many people having brave conversations and talking about the real things that matter, and not all the fluff that's so easy to talk about from a first world perspective. And I've lived in many countries around the world, and some of them not first world. And let me tell you, we do have first world problems here. And they're really small compared to what's really going on for the majority of people on this planet. So to have a group of people who have a lot of privilege, a lot of access to power, who have a lot of distractions, a lot of things we can focus on all around our navel, to have these people instead use their time, energy, resources, intelligence, wisdom, Rolodexes, to say, I'm going to make a difference for people. I'm committed to making a difference for people. I'm committed to alleviating suffering. I'm committed to walking the talk. I'm committed to being a good fill in the blank, your religion. I'm committed that this world actually works for everyone. I said, that's my tribe. Where you been? Been looking all over for you. So yeah, this is a beautiful gathering of people. I was there at the beginning of Unity Week, which launched the 99 Days to Peace Week, and it's been a wonderful 3 months of gatherings and being introduced to people who are doing such amazing, heart healing, difference making, on the ground, tangible. Life is different because we were there kind of difference. And so I definitely want to be involved with anybody who's up to those kind of big things, because that's the game I've been playing. And have partners, real partners, people who actually listen to you and care. Oh, come on now. Who doesn't want to be a part of that? Like, for real.
So honestly, I would love for you to share with us. Oops, we got a little echo going on there. I would love for you to share with us about what you're going to be doing as part of Peace Week, because again, people come in and if you haven't caught it this year, any of you, join us next year. All you gotta do is tell Becky or John or someone, hey, I'd love to create a plenary. I'd love to do a program on this or a program on that. So tell us about, honestly, what you're going to be doing on Thursday, and I'll pull that up for people to look at as well.
Okay, well, thank you so much for giving me an opportunity to share about it. Because once again, I walked off the street. They didn't know me from Adam. I was recommended by somebody they did know. Thank you, Christy Michaels, who has been with me on several programs around Mary Magdalene, around honoring the divine feminine. So I said, hey, and just a general meeting, wasn't proposing anything. I just said, one of the things that I know makes a difference for peace is the awareness and the respect and the honoring and a relationship with the Divine Mother, whether we call it Mother God, whether we call it Shekinah, whether we call it El Shaddai, whether we call it Yemayah, it doesn't matter what you call her. Her presence in our lives makes the difference. And I really have experienced from my travels and talking to people and doing healing sessions and doing shamanic rituals that sense of not having a divine mother, a representation of the divine feminine, unconsciously creates a sense of abandonment and loss, because how can we be here without our mothers? How can we not be embraced by our mother love? How can we not know we have someone to go to and say, Mom, I need help. And you got this. Can you just remind me so I can stop worrying? You know, we need a mother to go to, a lap to sit in, a hug to get, reassurances to get. And she exists. And so many of us, I grew up Black and Baptist, which is a different type of Baptist, okay? And so by default, I'm Protestant, which means by default, I'm protesting stupid shit. But I don't have Mary, I don't have any idea of mother. I have got a father who's white. I've got a son who they say is white and I know better. And then you got the dove. And I'm like, huh? How does a dove make baby Jesus? So I've been wondering, like, where's Mother God from get-go? Because I'm like, this don't make no sense. You say as above, so below. But below we got Mother, Father, make baby. And up above we have Father, Bird, make a baby. I'm trying to work it out. So anyway, so that was the beginning of my questioning. There's something amiss here. You know, even though, you know, in my circle, my whole journey around the world through Kabbalah, Sufism, Rosicrucianism, Buddhism, I've studied with the great masters in many places around the world. That brought me back to the Black Madonna, which I can't say brought me back because I would assume that I knew she existed. I didn't. It brought me back to Christianity, I should say. And I'm like, you mean there's been a divine feminine all the time here and I never knew about it? And she's the dark mother, the fertile mother, the womb mother, the void, the great darkness that begets everything. And I never knew about it. Wow. We have a mother, whatever name you call her, whatever tradition. She's Tara, Buddhism, she's Yemayah and Oshun and many names in Yoruba. She's, oh my gosh, she's a pro-woman and Our Lady of Guadalupe in Mexico. I mean, she is everywhere. And yet we don't know. We've not been introduced to, because we were told God is masculine, male, basically. And women just, you know, we have to just put up with, you know, our non-divine nature and non-divine selves. And I think that creates a lot of angoisse, sorry, that's French, anxiety from not having someone who loves us unconditionally that we can run to. So the Thursday session will be many people from different traditions representing, let's say, Buddhism, Hinduism, Native American, art, celebrating the divine feminine through art, many devotees of different paths who will be sharing what has been their life, their path, English, sorry about this guy, walk, what has been their walk like with the mother, what has been their experiences, what have they learned from having, not eliminating Father God, but having a mother too. Like I go Mother, Father, God, and it works for me. You know, but whatever works for you, if you call her Gaia, if you call her Mother Earth, if you call her the nature spirits, if you call her the hummingbird, I don't care, because she don't care. She doesn't care what you call her, just call her.
Beautiful.
So come on.
That's going to be this Thursday.
This Thursday. No,
Pacific time.
Yeah, it is this Thursday. Wow.
Thursday, September 22nd at 6 o'clock Eastern, 3 o'clock Pacific.
Yes.
And I'm going to bring back on beloveds John and Summer and Becky because again, you just light us all up. I've been watching them laughing and smiling and beaming as you kind of share your Anasuya Hallelujah magic. You know, it's very, very beautiful to see.
And her deep wisdom, and her deep wisdom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it's done with joy, but, you know, reminding us about our privilege and
Mhm.
also humbly telling your own story of journey to this, as all of us are recognizing this out of balance condition. The
Yes.
divine feminine and the mother rising is so essential for our own healing.
Yeah, it really is, you know, for all of us, I think the path of faith, whatever it takes, it is circuitous. I don't think there's a straight line. I don't think there's one event and it's like, oh, I'm hooked forever. I'm a believer. Maybe, but to stay there, that's when it gets tricky. We all can have our woo, hallelujah moment, but holding on to it is where it takes something to walk it, you know? And I went off looking, without even consciously doing it, looking for the feminine face of God at 18, you know? And I just went looking because I kept saying something's missing here. And growing up Black and Baptist, I couldn't even say it out loud to people without them looking at me like I was damn crazy. It's like, what are you talking about? You know, it didn't even occur to them that it was even, I mean, we are talking the 80s, all right? So this whole thing about divine feminine is, you know, in common language now, whether they believe it now, at least they know what you're talking about. When I was talking about this in the 80s, I had 3 heads. And I kept saying, I don't care, y'all, something ain't right. Something, so I'm going. So, you know, I hit the road and went to many, many paths and studied with so many great teachers. And they kept saying, see God within. God lives within you. And God looks like you because God lives within you as you. What? Come on now. What you talking about? That is not in any book I ever read, you know? So, but it also gave me a way to be with people who were sending me hatred, people who were treating me poorly. It gave me a way to be with my oppressors. Because if I say, see God in each other, God lives within me as me, and God lives within you as you, then I can't say, but not that one. Oh, you see how they're acting? God don't like ugly, so it clearly ain't no God in you. That's not how the movie goes. You know, the movie goes, God's in everyone, find it. Even if they don't see it, even if they're not being it, even if they don't know it, find it. And what I found in just looking for one speck of proof that God's in there has had them see it. Has had them open their heart just a little bit more and start showing it. I've seen this countless of times. When I look, I find. And so in that same way, I found Mother. When I look, I find.
Thank you so much. I want to take a minute. We haven't had a chance to do this, but I wanted to take a minute to just read some of the comments coming in from our wonderful friends in the Zoom room, because we have a lot of beautiful people watching and with us in the Zoom room. And I want to read just a few of the comments that have come in. Dorina, who comes to us from Ecuador, writes, what an amazing array of peace creating within and all around, from praying for, envisioning and being peace inside to making, working and co-creating peace locally and globally through nonviolence, compassion, and much passion and love. Thank you, Ben, Kurt, Anasuya, Becky, Summer, and John for walking and living your peace talk and being such great examples and inspiration for all of us in the Global Peace Tribe and beyond. So thank you, Dorina. That really sums up, I think, quite nicely.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, how a lot of our people are feeling. I'm just going to scan real quickly. Ayada writes, John and Summer, I so appreciate your passion and loved your articulation of the emergent moment, widely distributed, self-organizing leadership, and all hands on deck now. There are a couple of others I want to read. Noel writes to you, Anasuya. Thank you, Anasuya. I've been thinking about Sophia all week. You know, we did a whole show about Sophia, the goddess Sophia, last Saturday night, and that name has come up multiple times. And of course, Karen Eisenberg writes, "Let there be peace on earth and let it begin with me." Of course, that song that is, one of the unofficial theme songs, I think, for the Global Peace Tribe. And Susan writes, "Happily listening to passionately loving people." So thank you, everybody, for your comments. I always like to have a moment to do that. Part of creating peace through unity is, like John mentioned, really slowing down and acknowledging the pain in the world. And we are going to be spending this weekend raising money for Pakistan. And I'm going to play an excerpt of a video that was sent to me by Bob and Noel. They are part of World Unity Week. They're part of this greater group that's all kind of coming together. And I do want to play a portion of this video and then talk about how people can donate. And so I'll just take a minute. And as we're watching this uncomfortable footage, I just invite each of us in our own way to pray, to hold a vision, and then we're going to show you how you can also provide green energy as well. So here we go.
Pakistan, August 26, 2022. In 220 million Pakistan, devastating floods have affected at least 33 million people. Yes, you hear right, 33 million. In the South Asian nation since mid-June, torrential rain and flooding have claimed 940 lives. Unprecedented and the largest humanitarian catastrophe of this decade, the floods were. Pakistan is currently experiencing its 8th monsoon cycle, when the nation typically only experiences 3 to 4. The shockingly high proportions of super flood torrents. With 23 districts deemed disaster hit, Sindh has received 784% more rainfall this month than the average August rainfall. Another of the hardest hit regions has been the neighboring province of Balochistan, where Quetta's access to electricity, gas, and the internet has been severely limited. In the province, rainfall has increased by over 500%. Since Thursday morning, most districts of Quetta have been without gas and electricity. Rainfall has increased by over 500%. Since Thursday morning, most districts of Quetta have been without gas and electricity. The Provincial Disaster Management Authority and the Pakistani Army are working to help those impacted, but there is an urgent need for shelter and relief due to the growing number of people who have been made homeless or relocated. The nearby province of Balochistan, which is largely cut off from electricity, gas, and the internet, has called for 100,000 tents, while the southern state of Sindh, which has been severely affected by the water, has asked for 1 million tents.
दरार खोड़ के अतराफ में तकरीबन
Given its limited resources, Pakistan's top priority right now is addressing this massive humanitarian catastrophe brought on by climate change. Pakistan is appealing to the international community for assistance. Pakistan's Prime Minister Sharif briefed foreign diplomats on the problem on Friday, saying that his nation must concentrate its rehabilitation efforts toward increased climate change resilience because it is on the front lines of climate change while having a relatively low carbon footprint. Separately, Ehsan Iqbal, the Minister for Planning and Development, told Reuters that 30 million people have been impacted, which equates to around 15% of the population of the South Asian nation. According to a report released by the UN Agency Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs on Thursday, the monsoon rains in Pakistan have affected almost 3 million people, 185,000 of whom have been relocated to relief camps across the nation.
Let's just pause it because it's a longer video, but I mean, it's almost impossible watching some of these images. It's just remarkable. And and let me add Becky here too. How come this is not like front page news? How come this is not on everybody's mind and everybody's awareness? And one of the things that stood out for me, and I'd like to hear from the rest of you what stands out for you, that Pakistan is actually one of the fewer countries responsible for climate change, yet getting impacted amongst the heaviest. And that seems to be very true, that the countries that create a lot of the carbon in the atmosphere don't get hit nearly as hard as the third world countries. Yeah.
This is a big problem because Pakistan, in fact, their climate footprint is 0.8%, 0.08. So that's not even 1% of damage to the earth is caused by Pakistan, and they are suffering the most. And that's what we see all over what's called the developing world. They are paying the price in terms of drought, in terms of food scarcity, food insecurity, in terms of all kinds of climate challenges that were not created by them. Water supply damage, not created by them. And there's no rescue. There's no one coming to help them. It's like, oh, too bad. Now we have access to your resources. Are you all dead yet? Because really, that's a lot. That's what's going on. Who has access to their resources? Because Europe and America cannot run without what's in the soil in developing nations. So, that's a little funky what's going on.
Yeah.
And I'm putting it nicely.
Yeah, what I was going to say is that, see, everything we've been talking about here, from when we were talking earlier about spiritual community and peace and all this, to this disaster, is a symptom of the gigantic leap that we have to make as a species at a global level. Because in all of these situations, what we have is silos that are echo chambers just for themselves. And those silos do not necessarily pay attention to the pain, disaster, or the suffering in the other silo. Now, the way that humans live on this planet, which is already a cosmopolitan community, but we're not living as if we're a cosmopolitan community. We're living in these silos. So again, to go back to something Wayne Teasdale said, and it's so profound. He said that the definitive revolution is the awakening of humankind. And what he meant by that is, all of you know that awakening, non-dual consciousness, the world of the heart, is understanding that there is no other, that we are all one interconnected being, one unified field, and there is no other. So as Martin Luther King said, the pain of one is the pain of all, the injustice for one is the injustice for all. As a species, we have to come to that definitive revolution in consciousness where we drop from here to here and are doing things in that same spirit that John and Ben and Scott and Hallelujah and everybody here is trying to come from that deeper place. And we have so much work to do in a relatively short time. Now, the hope is, of course, that we can ignite that self, that Christ self, that Buddha self, that Krishna self that is in everybody and knows this from the beginning. Goes back to how children operate. Children, they embrace automatically. Even our pets embrace automatically because they're in that connection. So what happens, like Hallelujah said, is we've been told stories, and it's taken us a while to find out that those stories are radically inadequate. And so the revolution that's going on is people freeing up from these stories that were just too limited to allow people to care for other people in all the dimensions that we need to. So I would just say, thank God for that revolution, but that revolution has to be amped up in a huge way. And last thing I'll say, and I may say more about it later, is that so many of us now are even looking beyond this year and these programs, working now through the evolutionary leaders, which is, 500 and some really well-positioned people, to build that now from a group of leaders to a group of organizations, which will be the Evolutionary Partners Network, and then ask how can that group join with other groups all around the world, because the same message, the same epiphany that Hallelujah was talking about and John and Ben, that same epiphany is happening everywhere. So we have to join those together for the maximum traction in this we to actually get ahead of things that are just so threatening right now. So we're really being forced through a historical bottleneck. Usually in evolution, that means that the answer is someplace on the other side of that bottleneck with a drastically new way of being and a drastically new way of living. So that's what we're all here for. So we are the ones we've been looking for.
That's right, Kurt. I am going to go back to Kurt a little bit before we're done tonight to talk more about the Evolutionary Leaders Network. And I want to read some more comments that are coming in from our viewers. Noel writes, Reuters says that the unprecedented floods have now killed 1,500 people. Susan asks, one wonders where the nuclear weapons are in Pakistan. A reminder, everybody, please donate by going to PayPal at unity.earth. Mark Denisovsky writes, it's not headline news because the corporate institutions are the greatest polluter on the planet and they control the media. He also points out something, the US military is the single greatest polluter on the planet.
Number one.
Julia asks a question which maybe one of you can answer after I'm finished going through some of these comments. Julia is asking, can there be a different explanation, such as government policies as well as the terrain of the country? Just wondering if the media is covering up something more than environmental. Dorina writes, from the video Scott just shared, donations for floor relief in Pakistan, horrible floodings where 1/3 of the country was submerged underwater. Yeah, thank you, Dorina, for repeating where people can donate. Susan writes, Peace Week is a new way of thinking, empowering for us all. Noel writes, there has been not enough action or commitment to changing our ways to turn around the effects of climate change and species extinction. And yes, thank you for bringing up species extinction. And that's why she's active politically. Thank you. And Jeffrey writes, just imagine if all the war resources of the last 100 years had gone into a unity solution from the heart. Absolutely. Do you know if you took all the money that is spent on military in the world and redistributed it, every family would have a base of $50,000 a year. Every family on the planet would have a base of that if you redistributed the money that is spent on military. And then finally, the last comment I'll read, and then I want to hear from any of our presenters. Ayada writes, thank you for sharing this information about Pakistan. I had no idea because I've been doing a media fast for a while. so weary of the constant bad news. And this underscores how shows, groups like this, Unify, etc., are the new paradigm media, providing both upliftment, connection, etc., and real news that we need to know about. Thank you. That's why our moniker, our little for the awakening world is inform, inspire, take action. That's the goal of the awakening world. So I'd love to open it up to anyone that wants to answer to what we've just heard. Anybody want to offer anything?
Well, one thing I just want to add that didn't get stated in that video, and I'm not sure exactly the number, but the couple that are doing some of the greatest relief work that we're donating to is for women who are pregnant. There are 8 million, if I have the number right, 8 million women who are pregnant and due to deliver sometime between now and the end of the year. And can you imagine what the hospitals look like? No electricity, no hot water, no place to live. You know, it's all underwater. And so they're doing a lot to create mobile clinics. They need mobile clinics to be able to take care of these women so they can have safe, healthy deliveries, which is, you know, not even guaranteed right now under these conditions. So one of the major sources of your money will be going to providing and creating doctors on clinics who go to these women and provide the prenatal care they need and the delivery care that they need so that they have a safe delivery. So please donate.
Thank you so much for pointing that out. And I'm going to go to Becky. We haven't heard from Becky for a moment. Hi, Becky.
Just the images, the humans, the real people that we saw. I just wonder if we could take a moment perhaps to close our eyes and to connect our heart with one of the people that we saw experiencing in the visual aspect of the world before them collapsing, that we send our love and safety where we are, that we can send that to at least one of the people that we witnessed as they were witnessing. I was so moved watching that. It was so compelling and just wanted to take a moment to do that. And I'll just sing one thing for us as we hold these people in our hearts. To call myself beloved, to feel myself beloved on the earth. It is so difficult to see that. It is so hard. And I think the reason why we don't see these stories is so many of us are so overwhelmed by the suffering, and it's so hard for us to actually feel it ourselves. It's easier to just say, it's not happening, I don't want to feel that. And yet we can move through the grief. We can let the grief come through as this world is collapsing and rebuilding into the new story that we believe. We can allow that grief to rise in us. We can express it. We can feel it. We can transmute it. And we can become and embody love and kindness and honor each other. And so I'm so honored for the group that I work with, that they step forth and say, yes, what can we do? How can we raise funds? How can we raise awareness? How can we give our presence to this suffering that we have a possibility of alleviating it? And so I'm really grateful to Bob and Noel for putting that piece together, and Scott for you sharing that, and for everyone here who is able to make any kind of gift. The gift of your presence of feeling, first of all, just is so powerful. And as you're able to gift any type of money towards this, we are grateful to be able to give that forward, to get help where it's needed.
Thank you so much, Reverend Becky, for sharing that. And a reminder that any donation you make is going to be matched by Purpose Earth. So when you put in $25, you're actually donating $50. When you put in $100, you're actually donating $200. John and Summer, I see your hand is up. But thank you so much, Reverend Becky, for leading us into prayer and your beautiful heart. Thank you.
Yeah.
John and Summer, you're up.
You know, I got to believe that if you're alive now, you got the ticket, you got the golden ticket. that you're exactly what we need, that I'm exactly what I need to be able to deal with this changing of the guard, guys. I said it's like a nonstop telethon. There is such pain in the world and real suffering. I mean, watching that, oh my God, that is devastating. Imagine that was happening in New York City.
Right.
And the way we live, it's like, oh, that's not us. That's changing now. We know we're all connected. Therefore, that's us, right? Now, what do we do in the face of that? How can you sleep? How can we balance our own lives and come to terms with the need being so great and seeing the failure of nation states to fix these problems? There isn't adult supervision here anymore. And it's going to be, for me, I mean, this is our moment. Out of this darkness, out of this pain, we need to remake the way we care for each other. And we are. It is so beautiful to see. You saw how Ben passionate he was. This is a family, friends that he knew of. Lahore was a compassionate city. We have a connection to all of us, and we have a challenge to be creative, to actually address these problems in practical ways and still live our lives. So we're not in hopelessness and despair. I mean, when I heard about these governors sending immigrants who come to our borders looking to discover America as a new place for their home, and they're being used by politicians to send to make points. May it be that these people show up in Martha Vineyard in New York City, actually end up that it's a good thing for them that they were sent there. But this kind of cruelty, this kind of suffering, this kind of insensitivity to each other, that cannot be. We're carving out a new space, just like Bucky Fuller said, invent a new world that makes the old world obsolete. And our media, exactly the person who wrote that, they don't show us that because there isn't money to be made there.
Mhm.
That's why the choices on mainstream as well as social media are governed by these algorithms that determine what's the best way to return money to shareholders. They're not telling us the story of what's going on. How could a story like that be ignored? How could a third of a country like that with nuclear weapons and all those people be underwater and people saying, hey, I didn't even know about it? That's the sign of our times. We've got to take that seriously, guys. This is up to us. This is adulthood. It's time. We're going to have to grow our capacity collectively in ways that are self-organizing, in the ways that are authentic and real, that aren't about show, aren't trying to get the buzz. My God.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. I mean, I just went to Apple News, which is where I kind of go for my news. Nothing. You know, there's a story about the Queen, and there's a story about a Chinese spy, and there's a story about Jeff Bezos, and why adult children are cutting off their parents, and what do dogs know about us, right? Look at all the stories that there are: Russia, Ukraine, baseball, Giselle, the model, NBA, nothing about these floods in Pakistan. Nothing. I'm scrolling down. I'm still not seeing anything. Right.
And you won't.
Yeah.
You know, it's
And you
really-
won't.
Yeah.
You know what John said is so perfect because really the issue is the media is corporate run to support corporate interest and only their profit line. You have a country that it has dark brown people who are Muslims who don't speak English. We have no interest in them. Brown people suffering, so what? We'll be the first one to say they probably caused it, their own fault. You know, the Congo has been under war, under siege, under deep ravaging for over 20 years, and we have not given a flying F. Russia hits Ukraine, and in 5 minutes, the whole world is opening the doors to help them. But they're white and blonde. We can't overlook the elephant in the room. There is no discussion of this because they are not white, period. They're not important enough to be on the news. They're not important enough for us to consider their loss of humanity matters. Their lives don't matter, honey. And that's we have to tell the truth about this. And this is why Unity Earth is in a position of their own creation to make a difference. They are saying, and now it's we are saying through Unity Earth that everybody on Earth matters. And that's why I'm a part of this group, and I invite other people to join in and have every voice matter and every life matter. Because you know what? The world says, no, it doesn't. And we can say, ah, yes, it does.
Thank you. Yeah. I want to go to Kurt because we're actually getting close to our conclusion time. So I want to give each of you one more moment to kind of share whatever you want to share with. And I definitely, Kurt, would love for you to share a little bit more about what is going on with Evolutionary Leaders Network, the synergy circles. Tell us, because you're doing a lot of wonderful, wonderful work. And you know, I want us to close with some inspiration. We've all dropped into what's not working in our world. Let's go back to what is working now.
Yeah, and what's happening is that all around the world, people who are becoming aware that we have to act fast in this dramatically new way, and people who are well positioned and people who have serving energy and want to give it, are realizing that we have to create networks of the people who are banging the drum that we're talking about, and not this ostrich sangha that's banging that other drum that doesn't care about what's happening to so many parts of the world and the environment. So people are mobilizing in a huge way, and we're actually being very realistic about how we overcome this tendency that all humans have for building silos that are echo chambers. So we're talking to Google Impact Networks. We're talking to all of these other groups that want to link up at a global level to see how civil society, just normal people, changes the landscape for how policy decisions are made. Now, if you look back through history, every time that that's happened, it came from something that was on the street level, at the ground level of just the people, no longer tolerating what the status quo was and demanding action from a new perspective. So that is happening. And those people are everywhere. I mean, as you know, Paul Hawkins' book said there are 100,000 organizations out there that are dedicated to this. And that book was written 10 years ago. So the Evolutionary Partners Network that we're bringing together is saying it's not enough just for leaders to do this. We've got to also bring the organizations together. Now, just to say one thing, because you wanted to have a positive note. So one of the people that was recently sponsored on one of these programs is Jonathan Haidt, New York Times bestselling author, head of business school at NYU. And he actually now is gathering all of these lawyers from around the world to go after the algorithm models at the big social media companies in the same way that they successfully just went after the fellow who was telling the lies about Sandy Hook, and they got him into bankruptcy and got him to have to be responsible for this counter story, which isn't true. So Jonathan Haidt is having all of these lawyers study how they can get legal traction to shut down these business decisions that are running this world in this catastrophic direction. So there's a lot of light out there. I mean, every time we hear people like John and Ben and Scott and Hallelujah and Becky and everybody on these calls, there's a lot of light out there. And we just need to make that into a laser and just keep pounding away at the only thing that will save this species from self-destructing. We don't want to have some ET write the history of this planet that the answers were here, but we couldn't listen. We've got to do better than that. And the answer is very, very deep in the heart. I mentioned this program we're doing on October 2nd from the Evolutionary Leaders with Sadhvi G. Saraswati from India, who's done all of this work for women and well-being for women and girls and all the marginalized groups in India. Just titanic work that she has done based on bringing the heart that we're talking about to bear on real social projects in real time that are providing real services for real people in real time from this place of the heart instead of this place of the corporate bottom line. So there's a lot of good news out there. Everybody who's on this call represents that. Thank goodness for you. Just keep the pedal to the floor. I was with the Dalai Lama, 2 years ago, just before COVID. And that's one thing he said, just whatever you're doing, put the pedal to the floor. He said, I think that's how they say it in English, put the pedal to the floor and just keep doing what you're doing. And then just believe in the process. So that's kind of what I would say as my epitaph on tonight's discussion.
Oh, thank you. Well, hopefully not your epitaph. A couple things. Kurt publishes this beautiful publication called Light on Light. You can find it lightonlight.us. There's a lot of great things. There's Paul Mills, who we just featured on The Awakening World last Saturday night. And of course, Kurt introduced Paul to us. Actually did the introduction. And you can get all the back copies. There's so many wonderful things going on there. And then the other thing I want to really thank Kurt for is, many of us are part of something called the Evolutionary Leaders Network. And a lot of the people that are part of the EL, you've seen on The Awakening World. And about every 6 weeks, we feature specifically members of the Evolutionary Leaders Network. We'll be doing it again the first weekend of November with Reverend Deb. And there's something called synergy circles. And the synergy circles are really, you talk about in the beginning, there was Kurt. Well, Kurt is Mr. Synergy Circle. And these are all these amazing groups that come together, very much supported by Kurt. Kurt's kind of the one.
John's, by the way, that's John's diagram, by the way.
All right, so there we go. I'm going to bring John on.
That's his Kumu genius.
Yeah, and look at that. Look at all these amazing things going on. Conscious business, vision, artists catalyzing evolution. We work with them once every 6 weeks, Kristen Hoffman's group, and on and on. It's just really amazing. And this is all part of the incredible coming together, taking place in so many ways. And John, since he brought it up, anything you want to add about evolutionary leaders and synergy circles?
Yeah, it's easy to do the map, okay? Kurt's done all the work there, and we're all doing it together. Kurt, what you said was so beautiful. We do need to, like the Dalai Lama said, guys, this is challenging us. And I don't know what it's going to take, but I'm in. We're going to give it all we got. And I'm grateful so much to all of the folks here. Scott, for you making this program available, for the wisdom that's here, and Asoya, what you're teaching us. We're all learning. We got to be willing to be beginners in this one. We've never been challenged like this. And therefore it's inspiring. It's a challenge to be creative, and we're going to do it, and we're going to do it together. It's the only way. I don't know what else can we do but get organized, right? And I'm right here with Summer. I am the luckiest guy in the world. Okay,
You are. I gotta say. But you know what else we can do? We can dance. And while we've got the spotlight on Summer, she is gonna do the most amazing thing that of all the things. She's hosting.
It's not a competition, Scott.
Well, okay, as incredible as anything else that's happening, Summer is hosting a 24-hour dance party. And this is part of Peace Week. And I want you to tell us all about it from September 22nd, that's Thursday at 2:11 Eastern time, for 24 hours. This is incredible. Tell us about it. The Garden of Joy Dance.
Yeah. Oh, thank you for bringing that up. And I feel like it's, part of what I feel so important in these times that I love is just at the core of the Global Peace Tribe is to be informed, to be inspired, and action. And all three of those are happening in this 24 hours of dance. And I want to say all of that is happening during Peace Week. As Kurt was saying, okay, we got to just keep that energy. The lightning was
like a laser.
Like a laser. I just want to say, these convergence gatherings are the lasers. This evening is a laser that, part of what is inspiring me about the 24-hour event is the continuation of weaving that keeps happening. So I found out as well, I know some of you had just found out about Pakistan this week. And so one of the hours of the 24 hours is going to be dedicated to the music of the heart of Pakistan. And in the chat, as we will be dancing, there's a music co-creation with the great mother hummingbird is the inspiration for me of doing this for Peace on Earth. There's a prophecy of the eagle, condor, quetzal, and hummingbird that is really led by an incredible group of Indigenous women. And I'm really wanting to harness the hummingbird. And I had this vision of the earth becoming a disco ball.
I love it.
And that it for me, it was this extraordinary vision, and I couldn't not do it. It's kind of like showing up to Peace Week. I couldn't not do something and show up in some different way than ever before. So anyways, yeah. And just like coming to any of the events that have been shared that are happening this next week, there's an invitation for you to join in the Zoom room.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah, all of them, and coinciding with your plenary too. Anasuya, the plenary that's going on, I was just talking to Ejna yesterday, and she was like, oh, so the music, I'm syncing up the music during the hour of your plenary, because this is what's so amazing about complementary experiences, is the music of the mother will be pulsing
Yes.
from under the golden willow tree in dance. And you just come on in when you're done with your plenary.
That's right. I need to go
And-
dance. I will need to go dance. I will need to go dance and celebrate, because dancing is one of the ways that I worship. So yes.
Yes. So
This is the new media. This is
Yeah.
exactly what we're talking about. One of the things we didn't even mention, someone said they're from Ecuador. Shri and Kira are consecrating a pyramid of peace, 7 stories high. They were on your show last week, Scott.
Yeah.
There's
there's
much
music that just started playing in our bathroom. That's really interesting. Hold on a second.
It's a
That's the hummingbird.
I'll add the song in the mix.
look at what's I mean, we are all able to show up and play. That's the call. We need you now. Come, go to peaceweek.org, register, say how you want to play, get engaged. All of us. This is the moment. Ben, I see you came back. It was so good. Was that an illusion, or I see you there?
Is Ben with us?
I thought I saw him come back. No, maybe not.
No, yeah. His camera's not on, but his
Yeah, he was
box
there.
is there. So just to be clear, so people understand, there's gonna be 24 hours that people can tune in and dance.
Yeah.
With
Yeah.
different themes, and you're gonna be awake for all 24 hours,
I am. Mhm.
hosting this all 24-hour dance party.
Yes. And I'm not doing it alone. I'm doing it with all of you. So I just, it's a deep call, Scott. Some things don't necessarily make sense. Well, there's a lot of things in the world that don't make sense, but I thought I might as
Hallelujah.
well show up and do something that I feel incredibly deeply called to in this wild, mysterious time that we're all alive in. And hey, it's unprecedented times. And so in light of the joy, the depth of joy of medicine that I have in my heart, my soul, it's time to give it up. It's time to share it in a way that I never have before. And I know, I just know, I don't know how to explain it any more than that, but the call is deep, and whatever will happen. So yeah.
Come find out. Come be a part. Come
Yeah.
All right,
dance.
so again, everybody, if you go to peaceweek.org, go to the events, go to the schedule, and I just put into the search summer, and it automatically comes in. She spells that SOMMER, by the way. And there it is, 24 hours of Garden of Joy, dancing for peace on earth, humming our way home together.
Yeah.
That's going to be cool. And I will definitely join you for some of that summer. That's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah. And Scott, just, part of the opening ceremony tomorrow, right after Vandana Shiva, there's this incredible opening ceremony that I strongly suggest all of you that just sleep for a few hours tonight and wake up early, because there's just an incredible so many things that are happening, but there is a song that's been co-created from a group of women from all over the world that I've been a part of. And this song is called Humming Our Way Home. And it is an incredible co-creation with Kara Stonehouse, who is a part of the artist EL circle, as well with Scott. I mean, we weave together in so many ways, but it'll be a really special, it is a co-creation. It is peace. This is what peace through unity looks like. So
Okay, so I'm going to go one more time to peaceweek.org, and then you just go to the schedule, click all events, And then you can scroll through, and there's so many ways you can kind of find what's happening, but that's what she was talking about right
There's the
there.
opening.
Yeah, yeah.
There's the,
Add it. I mean, just to make it clear to everybody, right now, when we're done with this call we're on, we're going to go add more events that are being finished in these convergence rooms right now. So
Yeah.
it's going to keep emerging in the days to come, and we're going to build something together. That's the opportunity to connect in unprecedented ways. Don't sit on the sidelines. We need everybody on the field now. It's all hands on deck.
absolutely. Thank you, John. Thank you, Summer. Love you guys so much. I'm going to go to Becky. I'm going to go to Becky, give her a chance to whatever she wants to put in as her, what did Kurt call it? Her epitaph? Only for the evening. Only for the evening, Becky.
Beauty will save us all.
Yeah.
I think Socrates, I mean, so many people have said that. And as we grapple to understand and to develop our own meaning and sense of so many things that seem senseless and meaningless, let love lead us, and let beauty be a thing that speaks to our hearts and blesses us. And Peace Week, World Unity Week, all of these incredible events that we have coming over the next 8 days, we just invite you to join us to develop and expand upon your own meaning in this world and your own significance, because you truly matter. And it's just such a joy and an honor to be here co-creating this.
Thank you, Becky. And it looks like Ben might be with us. He just wrote, what a great show. And yes, Ben, we showed the video of Pakistan. We talked about it. And if you come on into your camera, I'll bring you on. There he is. He's back. Hey, Ben.
Can't stay away. You can't.
I couldn't stay away. I couldn't stay away. No, I wanted to be here, of course, with the Global Peace Tribe. And Becky is amazing. Reverend Becky now. Just incredible. You know, this is just one quick comment. Like, we're living in the age, Scott, of Renaissance people. You look at Kurt Johnson, and he's a polymath. You know, he's brilliant in so many different facets. You can't even name them all, from science to spirituality and everything in between. It's the same with John, and he's, you know, just polymaths. And Becky and Renaissance women, Renaissance men, Anasuya, you, Scott, and everybody that puts this team together. We are surrounded by angels and giants and legends. And they'll write songs and stories about all these people in years to come. So it's just yes, I couldn't stay away. This moment is unmissable. Peace Week is here. And I think Summer Joy mentioned the S word. There's no sleep for Peace Week. You just push on through. We're going to push on through together, and we'll get to the end, to the 99 days, and we're going to have a big gala co-hosted by you, Scott, and Teresa Collins. And can't wait for that. So no sleep till day 99, but we're just going to push on now. I'm only kidding, but there's so much going on. It's wonderful, it's exciting, and it's historic. And deeply, deeply grateful to the champions who have paved the way for us. You know, and Kurt was friends with so many of these legends that have been agents of transformation. We're blessed to be able to do what we do in the age of Zoom and Facebook and these other tools. So we have an incredible opportunity, and we're going to take it together. Thank you, Scott. I just wanted to come back in.
My pleasure. Thank you, Ben. And thank you, everybody. I want to read just a couple more comments that kind of cover, there's been so many that have come in. Karen writes, Summer, John, Becky, Ben, thank you. I am charged up to become an evolutionary leader. Moses writes, so wonderful to be with everyone, the Global Peace Tribe, some of my favorite humans on this Mother Earth. Hugs to all. Dia writes, I just tuned in time to hear you talk about the first of 12 Global Peace Pyramids, commemoration at Sri and Kira's. She is packing her bags and heading to Ecuador to be with Sri and Kira for that amazing event taking place next week. Mark Danislavsky writes, this is a spectacular Friday night show, a massive dose of positive, hopeful, committed energy. And a reminder, everybody, get up early, go to that very first plenary session. I know it's 6 o'clock for those of us on West Coast, 9 o'clock Eastern. And then after that, the opening ceremony, and then going all the way through. And then, of course, tomorrow night, we close with our Saturday Night Awakening World. And look at all the amazing people that are going to be on with us tomorrow night. It's our monthly collaboration with Global Coherence Pulse, Teresa Collins and Jennifer Hill. And we've got an amazing group of people. Jude Curvin, who has just launched this incredible book on the global unitive narrative. We are all children of Gaia, and she helps us to understand that. And we've got Dot Maver and Michael Linfield and Ben Bowler and John Raymer and Bob Atkinson and Gary Malkin and Cornflower playing music live for us, Donna Leah and so many others. And we have Omashar. We have Omashar tomorrow night, but you don't have to wait until tomorrow night because we got Omashar with us right here, right now, to take us into our closing song for the evening.
Wow.
So,
Can I add
Maria.
my happy joy moment?
Yes, of
You
course.
were asking everyone
Hallelujah.
for something positive, uplifting. I would just like to say that having the mother back is a way to bring back peace, because we have been doing things hierarchical based on sex and gender and race. But the mother's way is circular. It's in the circles. It's everyone is on equal footing. In a circle, everyone's voice matters. Everyone's solutions matter. So going back to a matrilineal, matrifocal way of looking at things is part of the solution of redistributing wealth and resources. It's a circle. So the mother's way is the way out of this mess that patriarchy created. So I do have to say, yes, there is light, and we're sharing a lot of it every day for this Peace Week, and especially on Thursday when we're celebrating the Divine Mother. So come on down.
thank you so much. Hallelujah, Anasuya, Anasuya, hallelujah. All right. And thank you, everybody, for your patience. Omashar, I'm turning it over to you, brother, to close this out.
What do you see when you're alone? What do you feel when you are by yourself? How could it be that you are here? Isn't it strange the way things are? Look at the river flowing by, and look at the colors of the butterfly. And how do you feel about your life? Isn't it strange the way things are? Like a dolphin in the ocean, I can hear you calling me. Come on in, you say, the water's fine. I have come to set you free. You have never been alone, my friend. I was just a thought away, and there's a deeper love that's holding you. And now that you see you're not alone, and there is no such thing as by yourself, and there is a hand that's lifting you into the presence of yourself. And life is a tale that never ends. There is a purpose to each heart that beats, and you are the river flowing by, and you are the colors of the butterfly, like a dolphin in the ocean. I can hear you calling me. Come on and you say the water's fine. I have come to set you free. You have never been alone, my friend. I was just a thought away. And there's a deeper love that's holding you, and it's here to lead the way. La, 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 la. Dolphin in the ocean, I can hear you calling me. Come on in, you say, the water's fine. I have come to set you free. You have never been alone, my friend. I was just a thought away. And there's a deeper love that's holding you, and it's here to lead the way. La, la,
Thank you very, very, very much, beautiful, beloved Omashar. Let's all sprinkle him. I'm going to go to gallery view. Let's all give him some love.
Thank you so much, and thank all of us tonight. Wow. There's no words. I feel so full. And action, yes. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
And remember, everybody, this is just the start. This is the preview, the premiere, getting everybody ready for Peace Week. Go to peaceweek.org, go through the schedule, find what you want to go to. It's going to be amazing, amazing weekend. Thank you, John, Summer, Ben, Hallelujah, Anasuya, Kurt Johnson, Omashar, and of course, everybody watching. And also I want to acknowledge everybody watching the replay. A lot of people watch the recording. So even if you weren't with us live, but you're watching the recording, you are in our hearts. And of course, I will be back tomorrow night.
And thank you, Becky. Becky,
Yes.
Becky,
Oh,
Becky.
Becky, yes, oh my God, Becky, Reverend Becky, not just Becky, but Reverend Becky.
Yes. Thank you, Reverend
We're in it
Becky.
together. Game on.
Woohoo! Baby Becky!
Woo.
All right, everybody, Twinkle, we love Becky, we love John, we love Kurt and Summer and all of you. Thank you,
We
thank
love
you, thank
Scott.
Yeah, we love you, Scott.
We love Scott.
Right.
Love, 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 everyone. Love, love, love.
you. Oh, beautiful. See you all tomorrow night. And